Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, November 21st at midnight, Mountain Time, 2019. The Meteorosaurids are about to strike tomorrow night, East Coast to Denver, even Europe. And the GFS model is showing a more moderate amount of snow in the mid-craton. But what it is showing is that we head into December. Take a look at this. A December to remember. 48 states will be covered in the global warming goodness. And much of the eastern craton, look at Canada, will be buried. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Keep calm. It's boom time. Now, Thanksgiving travel forecast. Rain, snow may cause delays this weekend. Another system, quote unquote, may bring headaches next week. But we're not showing it because we don't have the cojones to actually go out on a limb and tell you it's going to snow. Because there wasn't supposed to be any snow at this point, apparently. Snow falling on Mount Charleston just outside of Las Vegas, Nevada, before winter. Up to 8 inches of snow fell on Mount Charleston as winter storm warnings and watches are issued for Las Vegas. San Bernardino mountain residents wake up to 8 inches of snow. It's a ho, ho, ho. Where are we? Running Springs, California. Snow fell across the San Bernardino mountains overnight. And by sunrise, there were up to 8 inches of snow on the ground. Some found. That's what they found on the ground. It's the first time chains are being required in the mountain areas of California as the drought worries dwindle. Denver weather, more snow through Friday as hot chicks wear blue dresses and fancy aliens to tell you that it's going to snow. I don't even know. A break in the snow will come Wednesday night as one wave of our storm moves out. Don't let this fool you. We're not done. More snow is possible Thursday morning. We'll have another break until Thursday night, and we could see more light snow in Denver through Friday, as we probably won't wear this dress anyway. Take a look. For the Denver area, it didn't look like a ton of snow through Friday. We could see 1 to 2 inches, but State Patrol sees others where nobody's moving anywhere. In the high country, as the low moves closer, heavy snow will continue on and off for many areas. Up to 2 feet of snow is possible. Still predicting 30 inches in my... Thunder, hail, lightning wreak havoc across the Isles. Not the British Isles, the Hawaiian Isles on Tuesday, resulting in multiple power outages and downed trees. Not the only instance of hail. Flash flooding, rare hail strikes the southwest before storm moves east. The beast from the southwest is moving east. Storm is pounding the southwest, bringing rare hail to L.A. and flash flooding to Arizona before it moves east across the country. Now, if you watch our channel, 3 days ago we predicted flash flooding throughout the southeast, including Arizona. And now flash flood watches will be in effect through Wednesday, which is now night, as the storm continues to bring rain to typically flash flood prone areas. Meanwhile, the storm is set to bring snow to parts of the Rockies. Some areas could see 10 to 20 inches, which could be cinches. But it's rain and grapple. Look at this. California, the chance of more. It's grapple. They had hail. Holy hail. Chance of rain and hail and snow on Thanksgiving and Black Friday in the Bay Area. Heads up, Ice Age farmer. Here's something we have not seen in a while. Rain. New video shows it was coming down in San Jose Tuesday night, and more could be on the way. ABC 7 News meteorologist Mike Nico says new storm system could be headed to the Bay Area next week, bringing a chance of rain, hail, and even snow atop Mount Hamilton and Mount Diablo. The forecast shows wintry weather on Tuesday, Thanksgiving, and Black Friday. It's amazing. Images paint a picture of soggy, hail-beaten Southern California as the region's dry spell ends. There's 18 photos, and these were published 6 hours ago, so go get them. A 6-month dry spell ended in Southern California with showers and hail in downtown LA. Temperatures plummeted across the region, ushering in winter weather a month before the season is set to begin. Now, the global warmists there were like, oh, it's all because of global warming. 2 storm systems converged on Southern California, bringing lightning with them. Snarling traffic on freeways Give me a minute. More than 81% of California, including all of Southern California, is considered abnormally dry. But no longer. Record heat and cold touch every corner of the U.S. This is news. From sub-zero cold in northern Maine to 90s in Southern California, followed by hail and freezing conditions and snow. Enormous temperature contrasts span the U.S. borders over the weekend. Now, 2 years ago, we predicted this would be occurring now, which is now. So 2 years ago, when we predicted the sun was going to shut down and the Earth was going to experience a magnetic reversal or excursion, we warned you about all these things 2 years ago. But there's been tens of thousands of new subscribers, and maybe they didn't watch that show. But what happens during solar minimums, grand solar minimums, and magnetic reversals are all the same things. The magnetosphere wanes, cosmic rays infiltrate, and the jet stream breaks down. Now, when zonal flow only happens when the sun is at maximum. And solar max is over. So we're headed into grand solar minima, where the meridional flow will be king. And it can be described as more of an up and down feature. The meridional flow can draw temperatures from the equator all the way up into the Arctic and bring those Arctic temperatures all the way down towards the tropics. Outer banks buried in sand following storm. Now, these deposits are typically referred to in geologic terms as aeolian, even low S, but they're full of shite. And I digress. That'll be for another video. Let's take a look. Isn't the music crazy? It's like, is this a horror film? No, it's just the Outer Banks getting totally fluxed in sand. Right up your... Anyway. A weekend storm leaves part of North Carolina's Outer Banks buried in sand. And the video is unbelievable. No, it's believable because we just watched it. And these idiots made houses along some spit in the middle of the ocean so they get what they deserve. And that's tonight's first boom. If you live on the beach, moving forward, your lives are going to be hell forever. Mark my words. Hello. Would you eat these? This is coming from John Tamura. They had a bass tournament in Lake Okeechobee just the other day. And these were some of the surviving bass they caught. Now, this waterway, I think, supplies most of South Central and Southern Florida with their water. And these fish are absolutely disgusting, with tumors growing out of their mouths, lesions on their side. They don't look healthy. I've been a bass fisherman for years. This is a yearling. This is a 2-year-old largemouth. And it should have some girth in its belly. This fish is starving. I have no idea what... Maybe it's because of the big lesion on the side. Who knows? It's totally disgusting. Holes in the head, bug eyes. Lesions on the side of that silver bass. Look at that tumor out of the mouth. Look at that. What is that? What is that? Are you going to eat that? That fish looks like it was dead for a week, but they caught it. Could you imagine if you caught that bass? Oh, with the big fat tumor in its tail? Delicious. I like the lip tumor, to be quite honest. That's amazing. Or how about this anal cancer here, which is on the rise in humans as well. But I digress. Let me read some of this blog post here. Not really sure what bass fishing is worth to the state of Florida each year, but if we're thinking about bass fishing on Lake Tahoe or Okeechobee versus sitting on a bucket in a frozen lake this winter, I'd take the bucket because these fish are disgusting. And if you eat just one portion of that, you might as well just eat a NiCad battery right now, AA. Shove it down your neck because you're going to need to because there'll be no food in the supermarkets soon. Unless the supermarkets are actually growing it in the supermarket, which is coming to a smart city near you. Minnesota state senators hear from farmers in Crookstown, where the crooks are obviously sitting at the table. Now, the wet fall has a devastating effect on crops from sugar, beets, to potatoes, to grains and bean crops. Farmers and other agricultural stakeholders told Minnesota State Agriculture Rural Department of Housing Committee members at a hearing in Crookston on Friday that they're fluxed. Members of the committee have heard about the challenges facing agriculture in western Minnesota, but wanted to hear it firsthand from the farmers, and they did. During the senator's introduction, they were basically laid out the facts that this is exceptional. This is something that doesn't happen in most generations, Johnson said. Nothing that the adverse weather effects on agriculture could result in historical changes in the makeup of family farms. It's the end game, according to the people that are growing the food. Thousands of seed potato acres in the Red River Valley will go to waste, even though there's millions of pounds behind this guy near the tube there. Now, Sander Doggin raised an exceptional seed potato crop this year. Look at it. Exceptional. That makes it sting even more as he is forced to abandon 80% of his acres because he cannot harvest them. Early October could lead to shortage of sweet corn seed as well, and dry beans. We know that we got hurt. We just didn't know the extent until now. And they're fluxed. Because if you don't have seeds, you don't have crops. The early wave of low temperatures last week threatened not only onion and potato in Idaho, but also sweet corn and dry bean production. Treasure Valley produces 60% of the world's temperate sweet corn seed. And along with Eastern Oregon and the Magic Valley, 95% of the world's dry bean seed. Did you pick that up? That's a total of over 2/3 of all the corn and bean seeds in the world. With last week's uncharacteristically cold weather, up to 1/5 of the valley's sweet corn seed and 15% of the dry bean seed could be lost. That's gigantic. Because that's what we grow the food that you eat from. 20% reduction. Now, designation to help UP farmers, USDA, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. It's everywhere. Farmers in several Upper P communities will now be able to apply for federal disaster funding. This comes after the U.S. Department of Agriculture designated them as primary natural disaster areas due to weather conditions including flooding and extreme cold. No, Al, there's no heat. Get in your hole, you prick. This guy. So it's ongoing, and this site can't be reached. So we'll go to the next site. Did you know where you're living Now, by 2022, the IPCC, NASA, and NOAA will actually use this graph. But until then, they're using this graph behind here, the CMIP5, which shows us warming amazingly. Solar activity increasing. But that's not happening. Now, we're preparing for extreme cold in Ohio. And this is how to prepare for extreme cold, which is coming in your life in the next few months if you live anywhere north of 40 degrees. Please heed these warnings if they ever come up. Extreme cold temperatures can threaten Ohio and many other areas north of 40 degrees latitude during the winter. During Winter Safety Awareness Week, the Ohio Committee for Severe Weather Awareness is encouraging people to take this week's to prepare for the worst because it's coming. Now, did you know that last year wind chill dropped to 36 degrees below zero in Ohio? Breaking records and killing people. It's only going to be worse in January and February in the same place. Frostbite can happen in 10 minutes, and within a half hour, you're dead. So, learn the facts. Bundle up. Use layers. Use a face mask. Boots, waterproof. 3 layers, minimum. No cotton. Cotton kills. Wear gloves. Eye protection. It's coming. It's only getting worse. GFS models showing heavy snow. 48 states getting some of the global warming goodness. 3 weeks before Christmas. I can't wait. Australia's grain corp slides the biggest loss since 1998 as drought shrivels output. So not only is the cold affecting the crops, so are droughts. Now, if you're new to the game, let me reveal some things. Grand solar minimums are responsible for the highest temperatures ever recorded, the lowest temperatures ever recorded, the largest crop destruction, the largest crop loss and famines worldwide, deaths of huge portions of the population, and just general unhappiness globally. And so here we see some of the drought damages. After we saw the cold damages in the U.S., 20% of the seed corn and beans lost for next year. That means we can't plant it. Same thing happening in Australia. Wintry conditions over the Rockies, heavy rainfall and flash flooding threat over the desert southwest. Remnant moisture from what was once Tropical Storm Raymond will continue to produce heavy rainfall and the threat for flash flooding over the desert southwest. Winter storm warnings in Minnesota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada. Click on your counties for your local warnings. Slightly colder than normal winter expected for central Alberta. Meteorologists are saying Alberta will see a typical changeable winter, tipping towards cooler. Diamond says they're full of pooler. He's no drooler. Alberta's going to be frozen. Mark my words. Well, it's based on science and facts. And crop loss. Slightly cooler. Who's the fooler? Where are we? Cold could be extreme for Winnipeg this winter. But just above, just slightly cooler. Even by Winnipeg standards, we're in for a long, cold winter. That's the takeaway from the Weather Network's winter forecast that sees warm water in the Gulf of Alaska creating a high-pressure ridge that will push Arctic air down in North America for extended periods, i.e. the meridional flow, which will lead to massive amounts of snowshoeing, snowboarding, and other winter sports. Shallow magnitude 6.1 quake rattles Thailand and Laos. Shaking could be felt more than 700 kilometers away in Bangkok, but no immediate reports of damage. Good news. 6.3 magnitude quake hits 267 kilometers northwest of Otrivnoshki, Russia, in the middle of nowhere at blot echo depth, which means a bigger one could be coming, and a tsunami could emanate from the Kent Sea. Do you see what I'm saying? Discover solar wind showing the BZ shifting as we couple with space weather. Maybe something from the sun, who knows? But at the same time, the phi angle shifted yesterday to 180 was our first boom in Mexico. And when it shifted back and went back to 180, our next boom in Russia. And we've been there all day. More booms. Boom after boom after boom. Nothing major, but the solar wind has arrived. Earth is entering a stream of solar wind flowing from a sprawling hole in the sun's atmosphere just north of the equator, which has passed through, and now it's coupling. First contact with the gaseous material on November 20th, today, produced an outburst of auroras over Scandinavia. Marcus Badik sends this picture from Tromsø, Norway. Today, we have greeted some of the most beautiful night butterflies I have seen in all of the Norways. And that is a boom to the solar wind speed. More booms on the map. Let's break it down. 5.4 in Mexico. 6.3. 6.3 in Russia. And then this relatively rare quake over here in Thailand, 6.1 on the Kraton. This inland quake near no major faults in Mongolia at 4.5 is rare. And this northern Canadian quake, also rare, 4.0 in Resolute, Canada. Another quake up here in the Arctic Circle, pretty rare at 4.5, is already off the map. And then we have 2 quakes in Africa related to the East African Rift Zone. This one in West Africa is very bizarre in Namibia. Hello. Could be a mud volcano or some other crazy Worldwide volcano news update. No volcanoes of note. Normal activity. Check it out yourself. We're going long here. Huge tsunami hit Oman 1,000 years ago. 15-meter high waves that pushed boulders the weight of a leopard tank inland. What is a leopard tank? Anyway, this is more or less how one can imagine the tsunami hit the coast of today's Oman 1,000 years ago, as concluded by a recent study by the University of Bonn. Now, I'm suggesting this might have come from the Canary Islands or some other such place, where it doesn't matter, because if a major landslide happens in one of these oceanic volcanoes, oh my God, it could literally develop a 150-foot high tsunami and devastate every single coastal area on the Atlantic. And if it happens in the Pacific, it's in that ocean, which would lead to 80% devastation of all life along the coastal regions of that ocean. Now, it is our supposition that this will happen in your lifetime. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next year. It could happen in 5 years. All that matters is that it will happen. It's not a question of if, it's when. That's why we're here, to prepare you, not scare you. And if you live on the coast and a 150-foot tsunami is coming, you have less than 30 minutes. which means you're dead. Everyone in Florida, dead. Everyone in a coastal city, dead. Because even if you jump in your car and you try to drive out of town, traffic jam much? So, we just want you to know what you're getting into if you're stuck there. I would go to the highest part of the most solid building, kiss my ass goodbye, and pray for the best. Outback telescope captures Milky Way center. Discovers remnants of dead stars. This is the center of the Milky Way from the Murchison Wide Field Array. This is a radio telescope. Rex Bear and I will be doing a podcast next to a radio telescope in the near future in Los Alamos. So if you don't know what one looks like, we'll be there. But a radio telescope in Western Australia has captured a spectacular view of the center of the Milky Way. The image from the Murchison Wide Field Array, or the MWA, shows that our galaxy would look what it would look like if you could actually see radio waves. But that's not the important thing. What's important is that it also took pictures of 27 supernova, which could also be micronova or recumbent nova. And the reason I say this is because the state of cosmology is so embarrassing that I don't even know where to begin. We're still teaching the accretionary model, the fact that the sun is a nuclear furnace that's burning itself out, and other total shart facts that are completely fake, debunked. And yet, all of your children in school are being taught this. So if you're a parent and you have children and you're listening, like, please go to school and say, why are you teaching them this? Do you know that there's new science and that this is totally false? There probably isn't dark matter. Anyway, no, don't do that. You'll totally get banned from your town. I mean, it's idiocracy meets Huxley's Brave New World. We have no idea where this is going to go. But the only thing we do know is that you've all allowed cameras, just like this one here, everywhere into your life. Your phones are tapped. You idiots have Alexa in your living room. They're listening to you fart at night. And astronomers discover 27 supernova. These are all remnants of stars that are all missing. But I guarantee if you look at these pictures, there's a star right in the middle that caused these nova. It's almost never a missing star. They're so full of it. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites that we warned about 3 weeks ago and months ago, already causing a headache for astronomers. Blinding out satellites. And this is all debris that's going to rain down on your head in just a few years. Thank you, Elon Musk. And the foreshadowing was when he shot a car into space with some more garbage on it. God knows what's in that glove box. Physicists now claim they found even more evidence of a new force of nature. This is how stupid physicists are. They have no idea what's going on. So when their models don't work because they're actually like, wait a minute, the models don't say this is happening. Yeah. We're working with scientific models that are hundreds of years old. It's embarrassing to even be alive. I'm glad I got out of science 2 decades ago. It's more than that now. Science is dead. Propaganda is king. And as the empire crumbles, propaganda is going to be king times 1 billion. It's coming. Yeah, the big freeze. The coming big freeze is coming. And Armstrong Economics is well aware. The big freeze is upon us. The volatility in weather that our computer has been forecasting on a long-term basis should result in this winter being colder than the last one, which was record cold in thousands of places. including Britain, the UK, could see the big cold. Now, the little ice age during colonial America is described in this article, which I'm going to do a narrated version of. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. The early America that early European explorers and colonists found was a far different land than we know today. Even only 150 years ago, the forests of Appalachia were far darker and home to an incredible number of exotic species, which have all now been murdered by you. Probably not. But it is our fault. Now, the little ice age, its most spectacular moment was the year without a summer, and that was caused in 1816, the year without a summer, by the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora. This is in a hemisphere far south of where the year without the summer occurred. And I've been reading some reports about the year without a summer. There were frosts throughout the entire summer. It snowed in July. It frosted again in August. They cut the crops down several times, tilled them back under. There was nothing to eat, period. And this is all caused by solar activity, increased volcanism, the waning magnetosphere. It's all related. It's a cacophony of effects, hellish effects, that we have been warned about by ancients. And now over 140 new Nazca lines being discovered, including strange humanoids, which are actually plasma discharge features, the Perrot instability man. And because of these new techniques of LiDAR, we can now see some of these instabilities coming to life. And here's ancient maps. And then we see this as the Serpent Mound in eastern and North America. Same thing. Cosmic egg, dead human, eating the cosmic egg. There's a dead person at the head of this serpent. Are you picking it up? I mean, the information, the warnings abound, but the solutions are everywhere. New paper coming out, remediation of oil-contaminated soil by 2 native plants. And they were simply treated with biochar and mycorrhiza. Permaculture is the solution to all of the problems on Earth, to feeding the planet, to remediating the soil, and to actually remediating the pollution, which is not CO2, because that's plant food. We need that. Hope you got something out of the video. It's dab time. In 2022, the IPCC, NASA, and NOAA will be using the CMIP6. But at that same time, the CMIP7 will be available. And that will be showing even lower solar activity. We love each and every one of you. Learn to grow food. Buy a grow light. Plant a seed. Fail inside now. The year without a summer is coming. When the eruption happens, we'll know. And then you'll be fluxed. And as we approach that time, food products will dwindle, and preparedness products will increase in price. You'll be priced out. Think about buying survival type presents for Christmas. You might save someone's life. Be safe. We love you.